dating a pathological liar in Sydney. I normally don't talk about dating that explicitly on here, but because so much time has passed now, I'm just like, whatever, why not? I'm not gonna be specific about when I met this guy, but it was in Sydney. We matched on Bumble. Let's name this guy Brad. When Brad and I first matched, we messaged a lot. He kind of looked like Tom Hardy vibes, but he looked a little bit like Brad Pitt, and he did say people do comment saying that he looks like Brad Pitt. Brad and I start talking, we bond about Japanese ceramics, and we messaged for a few days, and then we get on a phone call, and the phone call was actually great. Like, I could tell he was very quick with his mind. He was very quick speaker, just quick thinker. He said that he sold his business to a company, but then was working under the company for 2 years for a transition period. On the app, he said he was 41 years old. On that first phone call, I asked him, I said, "Are you sure you're 41? And he said, "Wait, why are you asking that? Have people lied to you about that before?" And I was like, "Yes, they have." And he said, "No, haha, I am 41. The phone calls were great. They were fun, they were funny. We decided to meet for dinner, and he booked a reservation at Hakko because he knew that Hakko, that Japanese cuisine, is one of my favorite cuisines. When he picked me up, nice car, luxurious car. And I liked how he was dressed. He was very muscular and built. However, he looked very different from his photos. I was kind of disappointed by his face. It didn't match his photos. Notice he was very theatrical with how he acted. Like, when we would walk along the street and there was like a crowd of people, he would really kind of go into like bodyguard mode, which is fine. Like, I appreciate him trying to make me feel like I was protected, but it was just over the top. Like, it wasn't normal how someone else would do it. Very exaggerated, like really like trying to like push these people out of the way. It wasn't that crowded. Then we got to Hakko. He was freaking out about my jacket. Like, I had taken off my jacket, and he was like, "Oh, well, like, let's put it on this chair. Let's hang it up." And I was like, "No, it's totally fine. Like, I could just put it on my lap." He was just causing a lot of attention, causing a scene. And well, the staff at the restaurant were like, "No, like, you know, when you're at an omakase, like, every seat's always full. You can't just put your jacket or things on a chair. Like, it's reserved for someone else to sit there." He said that he lived with his ex for 10 years, but they were never married. She was a narcissist, and that she cheated on him, and that she would never come home until like 2 or 3 a.m. So then that just made me feel bad, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like you dealt with that for so many years. Like, you know, how could you date someone that's constantly never coming home or responding to your messages and like cheating on you and saying all these horrible things to you? In his profile, it said something like, "Oh, I really appreciate women that have emotional intelligence." And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, you want someone who's emotionally intelligent because you dated a narcissist for so long. Like, I understand that. He took me home, we hugged, and then I went inside.
So to me, it just sounds like he's either really nervous, like on this date, you know, you meet someone and you act like yourself, but then you kind of not, because you're just trying to impress them in some sort of way. So you just say certain things, act a certain way. At the moment, I'm just a bit like, maybe they're not well suited, like clearly dating a pathological liar in Sydney. But yeah, it's a bit crap how she didn't look like his photos. Like, just watching that, I was a bit like, it's odd, but I don't know. I think I need a part 2 to understand like what has happened after. Like, why is he a pathological liar? But yeah, I guess like dates are good for this sort of situation. Like, you get to understand someone, what they're like in a social setting, what they drive, what they dress like, how they act, what they drink, what they eat, what they want in a woman. But I mean, it's awful that he's been cheated on loads of times with his ex for 10 years. And that's really bad.